In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
So what do we got, a straight 187?
Looks like it, a boy in his late teens.
Anything else?
Not much. I actually just set up shop, but we can check his clothes for an identification. Alright, let's go. Oh, careful, a little bit of mud.
No blood, no signs of fight, no nothing. Whatever happened definitely didn't happen here. How'd we find this guy?
It was an anonymous tip, enough for us to go looking though. Although we wouldn't have reasonable suspicion to search the area, but turns out it's public property, an open field. Some kids probably stumbled upon it.
Jesus, we're gonna have to get everyone down here ASAP. Multiple stab wounds, lacerations across the body. Looks like murder to me.
I think the perp dragged him out here, dumped him, and got the hell out.
He was left-handed.
How can you tell?
Well, you can see by how the footprints are on the right side of where the dirt is shifted. That means our guy is left-handed and he dragged the victim on his back.
Oh, look, I got a footprint here. It's been raining for a couple days, so it's a bit muddy and saturated, but it looks like our perp just couldn't keep his sneakers clean.
Well, when the crime lab gets here, make sure they get good pictures of this. If we figure out the size and make of the shoe, we can get a good start on this case.
Alright, we'll try and get as much as we can out of it. Alright, let's go for now.
Sounds good. Here's what we got. Thomas Lee, age 17, a local kid. Time of death between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. Stab wounds about 6 inches deep, but not much we could get from it. The kid had no prior history. He never missed a day of school his whole life. A prize social studies student going to Bryant University next year. He had his whole life ahead of him.
Jeez.
Here for the notables. He tested positive for LSD. One problem is, Fish isn't performing in Boston this week.
What about a Grateful Dead cover band?
No luck.
The footprint?
We got one from the scene. We matched the imprint with the notable Jeremy Scott Adidas shoe, but not many of them out there. The shoe cost close to $300.
Okay, I'll take that and find a local shoe store to see if anyone's selling the perp shoes. Did anyone tell the kid's family?
No, I hate this job sometimes.
So, how'd it go?
Well, next time you're gonna have to break the news.
Okay, well I got something to cheer you up. I found all stores within 20 miles that sell this type of shoe, and there are only 5. I asked them for the records of everyone that spawned it, so I have a list of 18.
Did you check their records?
Of course. I took those 18 and put them through the system to see if there were any priors. Out of those, one person came to the top of the list with 7 run-ins. His name's Sophia.
So what?
So she lives a quarter mile from the drop site.
Well, I guess that's enough for us to go knocking, but not enough for reasonable suspicion. Maybe talking to her will get us something. Let's go.
All right.
Hello?
This is Thomas Lee, as you can probably put together by now, considering all the sirens the other day. He was practically found dead in your backyard.
Shame. I heard he was just a kid, though, right?
Yeah, 17. Makes you wonder why some person would do such a thing.
No. You don't get it. I did not do it. You think I did it? No. I've had a couple misdemeanors, but that's it.
So what were you doing Sunday evening? If you got bored, had a few drinks, did something stupid?
I was in the house watching TV.
Yeah, and I'm guessing you were by yourself with no one to back up that that's actually true, right?
No. Friday night, you see, I was at McDonald's, and my hand got caught in the iron, and I suffered 3rd-degree burns on my left hand.
You couldn't have done it, it's left hand.
So you were sitting here the whole night, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, maybe you saw something out of the ordinary. Notable. A UFO or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe I was watching here
Yeah, what were you watching?
Netflix.
Continue.
Well, I heard a screech of tires from the road. I wasn't sure if anyone spun out of control or something, but I couldn't make out the car under the streetlight. So it was a pretty distinct car. It was one of those half-moon ones, like a VW Beetle or something. It was really, really bright green, just idling about. There wasn't like an accident or something, so I thought I would just go back and watch TV.
Did you see anyone get in or out of the car? License plate number, maybe?
No, actually, there was no one in the driver's seat.
Anything else? Anything?
No, sorry, that's it. That's all I got.
Well, thank you for your time. If we have any further questions, we'll get in touch with you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Alright, I'll go to the station and see what type of cars the 18 from the shoe store drive. Any green Beetles and we're all set.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the road crime scene and see if I can find one myself. I'll meet you back at the office in 2 hours.
Sounds good. Beetle, one man.
There's no blood or anything on the road. How do we know there's only one man? How do we know there wasn't an accomplice?
Well, first of all, the car's tiny. There's no way you could have had an accomplice in the car as well as the victim. It's just too damn small. Secondly, we found one set of footprints and the ground was pretty soft at the crime scene. I looked up the cars and found one green Beetle that belongs to someone who also bought the shoes. His name is Luca.
What's his address?
Well, it's P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. And get this, related to the car, he's got 2 unpaid traffic tickets. So I'm thinking we bring him to talk about the unpaid speeding tickets. It's a good excuse to get him to let his guard down. Then...
The news tightens. Alright, let's go. Deep cut.
let me handle this.
May I help you?
Hello, so we're from the Bedford Police Department. Do you recall receiving a speeding ticket a month ago? And another one the month before that?
Yeah, so I know I haven't paid them, but I'm strapped for cash. I'm working on getting it.
Unfortunately, you're going to have to come down to the police station today. You're not under arrest, but it'll go a long way if you cooperate fully.
Well, my brake lights are on right now, and I was sweating like a dog driving back here.
Well, that's fine. We'll drive you down there and we'll have you back here within an hour.
Alright, sounds good.
We just need a record that you were here, so if you could initial sign and date of birth there, please.
Yeah, no problem.
So, Thomas Lee.
Sorry, what was that?
Thomas Lee.
What? What does that have to do with speeding tickets?
Well, nothing really. I just want to know what you know about him.
Why are you interrogating me, alright?
I'm not interrogating you. You're the one who asked the first question.
He died. He was all over the news. Everyone heard about it.
Well, it must have made you sweat, because let me inform you, we have an eyewitness from the scene that was able to identify the person who dropped the body there. They said the person drives a green buggy.
Man, it wasn't me. You gotta believe me, alright? I swear it ain't on me.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Who's it on? Action.
Your Honor, we have probable cause that this man, Luca, was involved in the death of Mr. Thomas Lee. Only 18 people have bought this specific type of shoe in town, and out of those 18, he's the only one who owns a green Beetle. And on top of that, we know that the perp carried the victim with his left hand, so he's probably a lefty. And when we asked our current suspect to sign a piece of paper, he signed with his left hand.
You're telling me to sign this warrant just because of that evidence? A shoe, a car, and a left hand? Come on, detective.
Your Honor, we have probable cause. I can tell you right now, this is the guy we're after. He's the one who killed Mr. Lee. Instead of doing an unlawful search, we're here to get a warrant, which we all know isn't easy.
Fine, I guess I'll give you this one.
Thank you.
You gotta believe me, it wasn't my fault, alright? I haven't been super popular in school. And I met this group, and they were the first ones that actually respected me. It became an obsession for me. Everything I did to please them. They asked me to take part in an initiation, and I was hesitant, yeah, but I couldn't say no. They told me I took LSD. I didn't... All of a sudden, there was blood everywhere. Thomas was lying dead. I was alone and I panicked. You gotta believe me. I didn't...
Alright, get up. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Okay, I got him to roughly outline what happened and I read him his rights. Now all we need is the full story. Alright, so tell it to us straight. What exactly happened?
You gotta believe me. I've always been friendly with some of the social studies teachers here at the high school, but they gave me the cold shoulder. Then one day they called me in, said they wanted me to join them. This was my first opportunity in 3 years. I've done everything that they'd ever wanted me to do up till then. So they called me into the initiation, they told me to take LSD. I did. Then Thomas showed up, they got nervous. They didn't want anyone finding out. And the knife was there, I picked it up, and I just wanted to threaten him. There's a struggle. They didn't want anyone to find out, so they helped me load him into the car. I drove out to the woods, dragged him in, and dropped him. That's it.
Were you physically the one who killed Thomas Lee?
No, I want a lawyer. I'm not answering any more questions until I get one.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Courier. I've been assigned to be your attorney for this case, sir. The prosecution has charged you with murder. Your arraignment will be tomorrow to set bail. Because it is a felony charge, that means you'll be tried in front of a jury.
I swear I didn't do it, alright? They made me take the drugs. I didn't know what I was doing, alright? You gotta get me out of this, alright?
The defense is prepared to offer a plea bargain.
I'm listening.
My client will plead guilty in exchange for dropping the murder charges in favor of manslaughter charges.
Well, it seems like Mr. Cappellini is getting off easy. He clearly murdered my client, and there's no reason why he shouldn't be charged with murder.
But sir, my client had zero intention of murdering Mr. Thomas Lee. The drugs entirely skewed his perception. He doesn't deserve to be charged with felony murder.
I'll talk with the victim's family, and we'll see how they feel about this. So it seems that Mr. Thomas Lee's family will agree to your plea bargain. They just want to ensure that their son's death gets justice, and going through this trial would be very painful for them as well.
That's excellent.
Well, if you are ready to confess, let's agree to it now.
I can't plead guilty to manslaughter. I didn't do anything wrong.
No. We'll see you in court then.
Mr. Cappellini, you have been presented with charges by the prosecution. You are charged with murder of Mr. Thomas Lee, 17, on April 13, 2014. How do you plead?
Your Honor, my client, Mr. Cappellini, pleads not guilty by reason of temporary insanity.
The hearing will be set for the 21st of April at 3 p.m. Bail is set at $1 million. We're adjourned.
All rise. Superior Court of the State of Massachusetts, the Honorable Judge Shaw, presiding, is now in session. The case number is 23142, Mr. Cappellini versus the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Please be seated and come to order.
Mr. Cappellini is charged for murdering Mr. Lee on April 13, 2014, and Mr. Cappellini has pled not guilty to the charge. Could the prosecution please give their opening statement?
Your Honor, Mr. Thomas Lee was murdered by Mr. Luca Cappellini. Mr. Cappellini has pled not guilty by reason of insanity at the time of the murder. He claims he was brainwashed by the cult. However, the insanity defense is unfounded, and Mr. Cappellini was in full control of his mental state when he joined the cult. Mr. Luca Cappellini was not pressured to remain in the cult that he said bent his will. It was Mr. Cappellini and not the cult that stabbed Mr. Thomas Lee 4 times in the stomach. Intoxication is not a valid application of the insanity defense, and Mr. Cappellini should be held responsible by the full power of the law. Thank you.
Your Honor, the irresistible impulse test exists for a reason. It exists to protect those who are stricken by unfortunate circumstances and manipulated against their own will. My client should not be held responsible for the consequences of his actions because he was deliberately confused. He was manipulated and given powerful drugs by Dosua until he could no longer control his own actions. This is not a case that should be brought against him, but it should be brought against the people who designed a cult that manipulated an innocent man into killing another. Our case will prove that Mr. Cappellini was in fact acting against his own will.
Will the prosecution please call their first witness to the stand?
I call Detective Lucier to the stand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated.
As Mr. Cappellini has already admitted his guilt, we don't need to go over the evidence again. However, could you please testify that man that you see in front of you is in fact the man you arrested for the murder of Mr. Thomas Lee?
Yep, that's him, all right.
No further questions.
Are any leaders of the cult Dosu are present here?
No, Your Honor. We tried to contact them, but apparently Donnelly is in New York City for Euro Challenge, Sunderland is in D.C. for National History Day, and, well, Walsh, he supposedly had a softball game to coach.
Defense, your witness?
Defense calls psychologist Winston Wang, Ph.D., M.D.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated.
Doctor, could you please state your full name and profession?
My name is Winston Wang, PhD, MD, this here at Harvard University in Boston.
In your professional opinion, could you please tell the court the effect you think LSD had on my client?
Well, you see, Luca was under the influence of LSD that altered his perception and caused him to have an out-of-world experience. He could not control his actions because LSD interferes with the brain's serotonin receptors and causes severe hallucinogenic effects, which inhibits neurotransmission and affects the way that retinas process information and deliver the sensory information to the brain.
So, in your professional opinion, was my client in control of his actions at the time of the murder?
No.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, next witness, please.
I call Mr. Capolini to the stand.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated.
Mr. Capolini, could you explain to the court who the leaders of Dosu are?
Donnelly, Sunderland, and Walsh are the leaders of Dosua. I wanted to be a part of their group for a while, and I had no idea who they and what they really were. But they asked me to come to initiation, and when they asked me that, I was ecstatic.
What did this initiation comprise of?
They told me to take LSD, and I refused at first, but they kept pressuring me over and over again, and eventually I relented, and they made me take it. Between that, the drugs, the cult pressuring me, I couldn't think for myself. I was a different person.
Do you testify under oath that you caused the death of Thomas Lee on the evening of April 13th, 2014?
Yes, but I was intoxicated. The cult forced me to take the drugs. They brainwashed me into taking it. I couldn't think for myself.
Mr. Capolini, could you elaborate on your state of mind at the time of Thomas's death?
It was like I was in a different universe. Nothing existed, but I could see everything. And I could see myself holding the knife and moving it. But I couldn't control my impulse.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would you like to cross-examine the defendant?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Capolini, did you or did you not have the option to take the LSD?
Well, I couldn't refuse, alright?
Were they holding a gun to your head?
No, but...
No. Did they say that they would kill your family?
No.
So why did you just say no?
Objection. Prosecution is badgering the witness.
Overruled. I'll repeat your question, Mr. Capolini. Why couldn't you just say no?
I just couldn't, alright? It was the first time I had ever been a part of something.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
The ladies and gentlemen of the jury find Luca guilty of the murder of Mr. Thomas Lee. We shall have a sentencing hearing in 2 weeks' time. Court adjourned.
Don't worry, we'll appeal. There must be a technicality error somewhere.